Hello. Today I want to give you a quick demo of what I think will be a big influence, if not the future, of data visualization and reporting. AI-powered visualization and analysis. This will just be a very high-level overview meant to show the various layers involved and its capabilities. As you may have guessed, MCP will be a central aspect. The current landscape. I'll quickly show you what Claude is capable of at the moment, because most people aren't aware, or if they are, they're probably not using it to use on proprietary data. So let me just quickly share my screen with you. This is the layers that we're integrating for today's demo. I'll get into that shortly. But here, if you can see, I can ask Claude to give me a TSQL. This is connecting to Adventures, my local database. Basically, it's just a dummy database with all the data that we'll be looking at today. So I'm saying, give me a TSQL to find total sales group by color. So he's actually gone in there. And the thing to note is, I have none of the queries is hard coded. I just gave him access, and he was able to go in, grab all the tables, get the schemas, and create the perfect TSQL for us that you can use, which is pretty good. Now let's take it to the next level. Now, say for the same query, I want it as a visual, and just to keep it simple, I prefer a pie chart for now. And he's actually gone in there and generated the visualization. Uh, so he's actually gone in there and created the visualization. And then I've asked him to save it to my desktop, which he's done. So basically, that's a different one. But yeah, but basically he's gone in there and he's basically saved it to my desktop at the moment. Now, let's have him look at give him another task. So rather than just going into SQL, I'll get him to go and look at my Elasticsearch or my graph database. So basically, I said, go find details of this particular person in the employees report, summarize the findings, and present key data in tabular format. And he was able to go in there, search through the index, and presented the key information. The data here is police reports, dummy data that are downloaded from Kaggle, and I've chunked it up. Like there's thousands and thousands of documents in here, all chunked up in my vector database. So Claude was able to actually go in there and recreate or put all the pieces together from the many chunks that he was able to find. Um, as you can see, pretty cool. And most of it is done on the fly. Now, he at the moment, before I get into the technicalities, at the moment, if you're not using MCP, you can still get him to generate the visuals. But the thing is, um, it's a lot slower because behind the scenes here, if we look at it, that's the code for the visualization, right? And we could have sent him just the data and get him to create the visualization on the fly, but a much more faster approach is if you generate the visualization on your MCP server. So basically, um, Claude goes and grabs the data and it goes through the MCP. The data gets then summarized and it's sent back together with the visualization or the code for the visualization. And that saves not only time but significant tokens, and by extension of that, it's a much cheaper solution. So you're not sending Claude tons and tons of data because, well, that's expensive and there's only so much token he can handle. So your MCP is doing the heavy lifting and doing the summarization there and sending it to Claude for the summary. But the biggest thing to note here is that, and what I think is truly remarkable, is that I did not hard code any of the queries. The LLM constructed all the queries it needed through schema delivery, and that's the same whether the source was SQL Server, MongoDB, Pinecone, or Neo4. And it does that. It does all this through multi-step processing, as you can see. We're looking at that. So it's actually going and pulling it back. That's his thinking there. He's running reports of that's actual query. So he's pulled it back. He didn't really answer what he wanted, so he's actually gone in and grabbed more and more. So because there was like at the moment that then this is a good illustration of why rank and re-ranking is so important. Because at the moment we're searching for data and there's 15 chunks coming back, and most of it may or may not be sufficient. So he's actually gone in there and grabbed the chunks and went in there to find what he needed, and eventually he's been able to find it and present all that information for you. Uh, Now the privacy challenge. Now the problem with running all this in Claude desktop, as impressive as it is that all your data, like at the moment, all the data is sitting inside my local SQL Server, MongoDB, and Elasticsearch, and that's my private data. The problem with using Claude is all that data gets, if or Claude desktop is, it gets sent to Claude. And what is great, it means your data is sent to Anthropic. In the terms of use, basically say that they can do whatever they want, including training their models. This is obviously not an acceptable corporate in a corporate environment. So there's two ways you can deal with that, right? And one is using open source models. And the reason why that is a great option is one, the data never leaves your network, and two, it's completely free. Now, I'm asking in this instance here, I'm using Gwen, or actually, I'm using ChatGPT on this occasion to go and search my Elastic database, and then basically return basically the same information. So it does exactly the same thing. We're using OpenAI Chat GPT, the open source version, nowhere near as powerful as what you use for the paid version, but for basic search and summary, it is fantastic. Just don't expect it to go and do multi-step investigation and reasoning like what would want with something like Claude. Yeah. So using this LM Studio, the models is actually sitting in my local computer. So no data, it's actually gone into the data source, pulled all the information back, but no data is sent back to the model providers because the model is actually sitting on my computer. It's a pretty big model, 10 gigs, I think, or 20 gigs. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And your second alternative, if you don't want to send the data to Anthropic, because Claude Desktop does exactly that, is to build your own front end. And that doesn't is not nowhere near as complicated as one might expect. As a matter of fact, I pretty much like after building the logic, the front end rendering well, I did that pretty much in one afternoon, and I'll quickly show you what it looks like because it's pretty cool for the amount of effort that I put in, which is probably not more than 2 hours. I just spin that up. Oh God, my computer's playing up. I should have had this up earlier. Okay, so basically that's my front end there. Pretty cool visuals, yeah. Uh, that is okay. So it's doing the same thing as uh, what we asked Claude Desktop to do, but this time instead of sending the data to the Anthropic or Claude Desktop, we're using Anthropic APIs, and the benefit there is the data never leaves, or the data is much more secure because Anthropic has provided a guarantee it won't use that information for training or anything else. So there you go. So we accessed SQL Server earlier, and this time I'm asking it to create a network visualization showing all the nodes in a association relationship in Neo4j, which is a graph database, and excellent for augmenting your rec search, because it provides knowledge graph that reg lacks. Yeah. So basically, what we did this time, in contrast to asking Claude Desktop to do it, we're running this in local desktop, and I am sending it to instead of using Claude Desktop, it's using Anthropic backend APIs. So the data is guaranteed not to be used for training, and you guarantee privacy. And in a corporate environment, that is a perfectly acceptable solution. So that's the data there, right? Uh, and as before, the key is you give the LLM the access, and you provide the visuals in your MCP server. In my instance, because I'm much more familiar with .NET, it's on ASP.NET. Uh, and the benefit of that is debugging and troubleshooting is 100 times easier than any other tools that I've explored, because you're basically using ASP.NET, and you can check or step through the process. So there you go. You have a pretty good visual. So this is exactly the type of visualization you see in Neo 4 desktop. You can plug in any graph that you want. Yeah, so it's quite powerful. So let's run this. It's like grab pie chart. The other thing to note, I'm connecting using SignalR, and the benefit of that is you can stream in the thought process of the LLM, so it facilitates troubleshooting and monitoring, because you can actually see the LLM thinking and see what it's doing, basically. So there you go. Create a pie chart for ourselves. Group by color products is actually gone in there, created, and as you can may or may not remember, that's exactly the same chart that our friend Claude Desktop did earlier. Yeah. So pie chart. I just use a pie chart for in this particular demo, but you can generate any type of chart, and I'm having built visualization for many years. I've tested it all, and it does a great job for all of them. So there, not only do you get a summary, you can actually, in terms of visualization, you get a summary by the LLM, and you can start talking to it. And if, as I showed in my other video, you can pull data from different data sources. So you could have ask him to pull something from SQL, pull something from Mongo, and then compare the two. And all that is achievable without touching your database or hard coding anything like you would with Power BI, or anything that most people do nowadays. So a remarkable leap. So there you go. It shows the thinking, the backend flow of data. Yeah, so pretty powerful. Enjoy that. More and better things to come. So yeah, stay tuned.